Yes, we are Geeks Assembled, and we have assembled here today for our very first edition of our Music Box series. Yes, this is our Music Box, and today we are going to be looking at ABBA, and we're going to be looking at their album, Voulez-Vous. Yes, so let's go off first to Lee. Go ahead, Lee, because I know you have a lot written down on this.
I feel like I want to sing. Has anybody got a microphone I can sing in? Anyway.
I've got one here for you.
No, that's no good. No, don't want that rubbish. Anyways, yeah. Voulez-Vous, ABBA's sixth studio album, written, composed, produced by Benny and Bjorn. It was released in 1979. This is, I think, they're on top of the game on this album. It's in the era of disco, and you can actually feel the disco influence on this album. So we'll go to the songs on the album. As Good as New. I love this one where it just starts off with violins and then it just goes into a sort of disco bass funk track just straight away after the violins. It's just brilliant. That I just love that one. Then we come on to Voulez-Vous. Everybody knows Voulez-Vous. It's just a classic, track. As soon as you hear it, you're singing along to it. Erasure even did a version of it, and they had a bigger hit with it than ABBA did. Then we go on to track 3, I Have a Dream. For me, this sounds like a Eurovision entry. It's so laid back with the guitars and the singing kids choir. It's a brilliant song. It's and as well, Westlife had a number 1 with it. ABBA never did. So, and then the next track, shall we go to track 4? Angel Eyes. This is where on the album, for me personally, you realise how good the two girls are so good at harmonising together. The harmonising on this is just brilliant. It's a brilliant song, and to me, this is ABBA at its best. Angel Eyes. Next track, The King Has Lost His Crown. It's a slow disco, very slow disco. It could have been out of a movie, to be honest. It's sort of a movie music, that one. Track 6, Does Your Mother Know? One of my personal favourites. This sort of hark back to the Waterloo sound, with all the glitzy and the guitar and all like that. And as well, Beyond sings this one, not the two girls. But it's a good little rocking song. It's very good. Now we come to this one I'm not so keen on. If It Wasn't for the Nights. I do like Benny's piano in this. This is very good. But for me, this song's nearly 6 minutes long. And it just doesn't go anywhere. It's just plods along for me personally. Then we get to Chiquitita. What a brilliant song. A simple acoustic guitar combined with a sort of a jazz piano. And then the storytelling in the song is just so brilliant. I just love this song. Then we get to Lovers Live a Little Longer. Sounds a bit similar to Summer Night City, but I do like the way the girls sort of become sort of rock chicks when they sing the title to the song. It's quite good, that. Then we get Kisses of Fire. This is another one where I think could have been a movie soundtrack. It should have been a single, I think, Kisses of Fire. And a missed opportunity, I think ABBA would have made a brilliant Bond theme. They would have done a really good Bond theme. And then we get to, if you're on the CD, you get 3 bonus tracks. You get Summer Night City, which is just brings images of me to hot summer nights and Saturday Night Fever. It's just got that feel to it. It's it's an awesome track. And then you get Love Light, which is the track after that. It's an okay song, and I also think that the girls are sort of channeling David Bowie when they're singing the slow bits in that, because they're sort of singing it in his sort of style when they sing that. And then the last track, Connor's favourite, Gimme, 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 A Man After Midnight. To me, epic, iconic, everything about this track says ABBA. The bass is just awesome. Added to that the disco beat, it's just brilliant. It's a fun, enjoyable album. And for me, it's a classic ABBA album. So for that, I'm going to give it. I can't give it 10 because there's a few tracks that I'm not so keen on. So I'm going to give it a 9.
Thank you, Lee. And now let's go over to Connor. Go ahead, Connor.
Yeah, Lee went into slightly more detail than I will there. This album sort of being released in 1979, I will say it's a precursor to the 80s sort of disco style that dominated that decade. Yeah, ABBA are on top form here. This is, I'd say this is probably my favourite album out of all of theirs. It's definitely, for me, the most iconic one because it's got the most well-known it's sort of a song that's, you could say it was like a greatest hits album because the way that it's formatted is that it's got pretty much every big name track of ABBA's that you could name just randomly on this one album. So I would compare it to sort of a greatest hits album. Yeah, I think some of the songs on there, Voulez-Vous, really powerful. Sort of reminded me of the Bee Gees in a way, even though I would imagine this was a bit before their time. It's catchy, it's memorable, as is been pretty much displayed by the fact that everyone knows that song from ABBA. It's a bit too long, I think, that Voulez-Vous is a song. It's like, 5 minutes, 10 seconds long, something. And it's a bit repetitive in places. I think if they shortened that down, condensed it a bit more, it probably would have been a bit easier to listen to. I'll skip the rest because I think apart from Chiquitita, which is quite Latin inspired and is probably more mellower than the other tracks on the album, I think the only one on this album that I can really get into after Voulez-Vous is, as Lee mentioned, my favourite song of them all, of all ABBA's songs, Gimme, 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 Man After Midnight, which I think is tells the story. To me, like Lee said, that it's pretty much what ABBA are famous for. But to me, I don't see it as sort of a conventional ABBA song. I see it as something that's slightly more subdued. It tells a story that's slightly gloomier than you would probably expect in a Euro pop disco sort of ABBA range. Yeah, I think the storytelling behind that song is great. I think the instrumentals is quite chilling in places. It's quite a gloomy track. Overall, I think that's just the best song they've ever produced, and they've done loads of great ones like Mamma Mia and Dancing Queen, etc. But I think Gimme, Gimme, Gimme for me really stands out as the all-time best ABBA song. Overall, being that it is quite a nice album to listen to, as I said, it's a very disco-themed sort of thing, even though there are some sort of, I'd say, variations upon rock and other sort of genres within the album. I think I'll give this an 8.5 out of 10 overall.
Thank you, Connor. And aren't you going to give us a rendition of Gimme, Gimme, Gimme?
Maybe when I'm pissed.
All right, then. Lee, sort it out. And now let's go to Jason. Let's see what Jason has to say about this album.
Well, listening to this album is pretty interesting. There's really not much for me to say about it, but to the fact that there's familiar songs like Does Your Mom Mother Know, which I end up having in one of my lists. Also Chiquita, also familiar of that song as well. And I do agree about Connor about Gimme, Gimme, Gimme. That one I definitely really big time familiar of. Especially when I DJ, I play that song about several times. And very, very catchy song. You got the dance move and all that with it. Very catchy beat. Does Your Mom also, Does Your Mother Know? It's also like a bit more like an upbeat music too as well. So most of the songs are more like a bit down tempo. Like if there's a DJ out there that does like more like a soft type music show with like calm music and all that. Most of these songs into it is perfect for that, for like soft type disco music, for people to start out in their mornings of listening to like soft kind of music. If you got people out there that love that kind of music, and which is pretty good out there. I mean, they got some pretty good songs. I'm not really familiar with most of them, but they're definitely pretty good in my opinion. And that's actually pretty much most I would say on that one.
What are you going to score it? What are you going to score the album?
I'll give it an 8 out of 10 on this one.
Oh, thank you, Jason. An 8. And let's go over to Kevin. Go ahead, Kevin.
Well, my mother was a big ABBA fan. So yeah, I've seen everything of ABBA, really. Like the concerts onto the CDs. Yep, the TV was pretty loud when ABBA was on TV. So yeah, the album, Voulez-Vous, the song of the album itself is very great. I know that song. And yeah, of course, Give Me a Man After Midnight, great song. And the rest, of course, is a little bit before disco time, 80s, before the Bee Gees were, Bee Gees, and it was before disco time. So yeah, it was. It's a good album. It's very slow disco, And then after a couple of years of all ABBA, you get Waterloo, Mamma Mia, all those great songs, and the musical, of course, of it, which my mother has also seen. So yeah, you can tell she's a big time ABBA fan. So yeah, I'm going to give this an album an 8 out of 10.
An 8. Thank you, Kevin. Now let's go over to Craig. What does Craig have to say? Go ahead, Craig.
Well, this album, I think, is a really good album. The actual ABBA band, I think, are world-class, super Europop. They were just a phenomenon. I mean, they really did. That's when Europop. That did take off. ABBA's responsible for that. And some of all the songs that you've mentioned are all pretty good. My favourite is Summer Night City. I just love the mix of instruments and how it starts off bass. Like you can hear in a lot of their songs. If you listen carefully, a lot went into each of the songs, and also they're style icons. They were setting the trends for the times when they were in the charts and stuff, and people looked up to them. And I'll give you an interesting fact: ABBA is ABBA spelled backwards, and for that reason, I'm going to give it a 10. I can't give it lower than a 10.
Thank you, Craig. Now let's go over to Alex, if he's there. Are you there, Alex?
Sorry about that. Had the doorbell ringing. Yeah, my mother was a big ABBA fan, and of course this is, disco era. They had a lot to compete with, but they had great tunes. They had great writing. They had a catchy beat. They were pretty friendly most of the time. Sorry about that. I'm trying to work this camera here, moving around. Yeah, so most of the albums were good. Most of the songs that everybody remembers, Take a Chance On, even though it's not on this album, is the one that I always like. Dancing Queen. What was it, Orlando? Well, no, Fernando, and all the other songs. So, they had a lot of, it's good to listen to them. They're the precursor to Ace of Base. They're better than Ace of Base. And, that makes it very enjoyable. And if I could find some ABBA songs cheaper, I definitely would buy at least 10 of their songs. So considering that I wasn't really a fan, but I did like about 3 songs that I mentioned already. And they're still around. I mean, you got Mamma Mia and all these other tributes to them. So just like the Village People, just like Air Supply, just like all those other groups, they have songs that everybody remembers and everybody likes. So I give most of their albums about an 8. And as I said, it's fun disco, but you also have real music. You also have very good songwriting. And a lot of their songs are fun too. They had some songs that were serious. So if you really wanted to listen to the album back in the old days where you had to listen to the album and you had to follow their works, not just on television and radio, but documentaries, movies, interviews, things like that, well before the internet, they were an interesting group. All right. Thanks.
Thank you, Alex. Now let's go over to the dancing queen herself. It's Susan. Yes, she is our dancing queen. Go ahead, Susan.
So I really love ABBA. If loving ABBA is wrong, I never want to be right. I've loved ABBA. My parents were fans. They danced. The Dancing Queen was a theme song in our house. It was just amazing. This album, I love this album because, well, first of all, the title comes from the French Voulez-Vous, which is a shortened version of the Voulez-Vous coucher avec moi ce soir? Would you go to bed with me tonight? Mm-hmm. So anyway, that's kind of like really, really good and really, really makes me really randy. Yes, and to read, it's just delightful. Anyway, like this is just a really awesome piece of dancing memorabilia. You know, it's super great. As good as new is as good as always. Voulez-Vous? Yes, absolutely. And I Have a Dream. It's just so ethereal, and The King Has Lost His Crown is kind of funny and kind of humorous. Does Your Mother Know? Very, very funny. It's like the We Are We Alone Now? The Beatles song. Anyway, like that's kind of fun. And if it wasn't for the Nights, it's okay. Chiquitita, wonderful, wonderful. Latin, as was mentioned earlier, very salsa based Latin rumba sort of with the disco backbeat. Of course, it's all done to the disco backbeat, which is just wonderful. Anyway, Lovers a little longer. That's so wonderful. Kisses of Fire, sweet song. I never heard that one before. Summer Night City, never heard that one before I was this podcast came up. And Love Light, just wonderful. And it really was a rich thing. The band is amazing. I mean, it's Agnetha Fitzskog, Bjorn Ulvaeus, and Benny Andersson, and Anfred Lyngstad. It's just such great Swedish musicians, Swedish icons. You know, the joke was that a Volvo better than anything else, and so I'll just give the whole thing about a 9.5 because it's disco and it's so much fun. And I have had such a great time reviewing this album and dressing up for this. So, thank you.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you. And now to me. Well, I'm a big ABBA fan. I absolutely love ABBA. I've seen many ABBA tribute bands. I've seen lots of them. My dad's a big ABBA fan. My mum hates ABBA. Me and my dad, we love ABBA. My mum doesn't like ABBA. But for this album, well, my favourites are really the usual ones, really. I'm pretty boring with this because I like Give Me, Give Me, Give Me. Oh, that's just fantastic. And then you've got Voulez-Vous, which I love as well. Voulez-Vous. I'm not going to sing, actually. Better not. And I Have a Dream. I have a dream. Yeah, let's not go there. I don't want viewers to turn off. And then there's Does Your Mother Know? I love the beat to that one. Chica. Now it starts off really slow and then it really gets going. And it just makes you want to clap. You want to clap along to it. I find I want to clap along to the beat, and I'm clapping along no matter wherever I hear that song, I just start clapping. I could be in a grocery store and I'll just start clapping because it just makes me want to clap. Mind you, if Mamma Mia or Dancing Queen plays, I do sing, and I sing anywhere. I've sang in shops before. You can dance, you can jive, having the time of your life. Anyway, yeah. So we better move on now, wouldn't we? Yeah. I'm going to give this album a 9. I just love ABBA. I like this album. It's a really good album. It's got some of their greatest songs like Gimme, 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 Chica. I Have a Dream, Voulez-Vous. It's just brilliant. I'm going to give it a 9, and I'm not going to sing anymore, I promise. And I'm going to open the floor to everyone to speak.
Gimme, Gimme, Gimme was that good that Madonna used it for...
Oh, yeah.
Yes, you did, yep.
Yeah, I forgot about that. So that's one more reason to love that song.
Time goes by so slowly.
Yeah, stop it. I don't want to cringe my ears today.
So the Gimme 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 song, I guess it wasn't on the version that I listened to. So I'd just like to say that Gimme 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 is an amazing song. It's just like it has such a lot of such a lot of power to it, and it's like a power disco song, and it is everywhere in the clubs. It is in gay clubs, it's in straight clubs, it's everywhere in every kind of club. It's just the most ubiquitous of that and Dancing Queen are the two ubiquitous ABBA songs that are everywhere. And thanks for reminding me that was in there. I keep forgetting because I never. Anyway,
I just want to say, I want to thank ABBA for the music.
Oh, yes. Thank you for...
And the songs they're singing.
Yeah. Thank you for the music.
For all the joy they're giving.
I'm not going to sing it, sorry.
Who could live without it? I ask in all honesty.
Sing
What
it with
would
all
life be? Come on, Susan.
Without a song or dance, what are we? So I say thank you for the music, for giving it to me.
Anyway, does anybody else have anything to add? I have to say, a lot of these songs were on the ABBA film, Mamma Mia. A lot of these songs were on there. Gimme, Gimme, Gimme was on there.
Yeah,
Does Your Mother Know?
Chiquitita.
Yeah, that's where Pierce Brosnan proved he couldn't sing a line.
Pierce Brosnan. That was hilarious.
Meryl Streep was great, though. Wasn't she?
I know.
She was great in that. She really was.
Super great.
I only watched that film because of the music.
You've got to realise as well, this was ABBA going back, they started in the 70s, and their music is still selling today.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, ABBA's still selling today, yeah.
It's still selling today. And also, a few of you mentioned this before the Bee Gees. No, it wasn't. The Bee Gees were going in the 60s. So the Bee Gees came before ABBA.
But music never really gets old, does it? Like television and things and film gets old. No. Music is timeless. Music's timeless.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And these songs are timeless. ABBA's timeless. ABBA will be listened to way before we're all gone. ABBA will still be listened to and enjoyed. Dancing Queen isn't going anywhere, and nor is Mamma Mia, nor is Gimme, Gimme, Gimme.
Are you telling me Nicki Minaj is going to be timeless? Oh, God. What terrible.
I didn't say Nicki Minaj. I didn't say Nicki Minaj. ABBA's timeless.
Well, certain songs in any genre from way back then, because not so often these days, brings back certain memories for people. And you hear a song, you think, that's when we was doing this, or that's when I did that, way back 20 years ago, or something like that. And ABBA is a good band where you have lots of wonderful memories to those songs.
I want to say something. Nicki Minaj is not going to be timeless. You will be out in 1 year or 2 or 3 or 5.
So many memories. Floods back, like dancing in Bulgaria, dancing in London, dancing in New York City, dancing in San Francisco. I mean, just dancing everywhere. You know, bring the ABBA everywhere, all over the globe. Anywhere you've been, anytime you've been, dancing in Turkey. Good gravy everywhere.
Yep. Anyone else have any to add? No?
Just one thing. I think this was a brilliant idea to choose ABBA first.
Yes, thank you. That was my idea. Thank you.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Well,
Thank you. Yes.
Connor claimed it was his, but I won't get into that.
Fine. Yes.
You claimed it was my idea. It wasn't. It was Ali's idea.
No, if it had gone wrong, it'd be your idea, Connor. Goes right, it's my idea. Yeah?
I prefer it that way. That's good.
Anyway, does anybody else have anything to say about ABBA's Voulez-Vous album?
No.
No.
Just like just like the Bee Gees, I understand what Lee's saying. He's right, but remember, this was the '70s. This was the disco era, from '74 to '80, 1979, and then it went over to new wave and other types of styles. But they're one of the bands like Earth, Wind and Fire or Village People, although in a bad way. Blondie, certain groups that people just remember and like. And you can play it anywhere and people will,
Forever.
I've got one thing to say, one last thing, and that is, go out there, discover ABBA, buy the albums, download the albums, discover the group we are talking about, because you won't be disappointed.
And ABBA, if you are watching, any of the members are watching, please reform. Please come on here. Give us some tickets if you do reform. Come back. Let's go there. Yeah, let's do it. And me and Susan can be there on the front row in our ABBA costumes, and we can sing Dancing Queen with ABBA. Let's get on stage with them, Susan. Let's get on stage. There we are. I'm challenging ABBA now. Come on.
And please make Gimme 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 a woman after midnight.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
No, because
I'm sure that'll be a good love-making song.
Anyway, we better end it there, hadn't we? Yeah, yes. We'll end it there. Yeah. I'd like to thank everybody for joining me. I'd like to thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment and share, and tell us what you think about the Voulez-Vous album. And as always, stay safe, look after yourself, and we'll see you next time.
Keep on ABBA-ing.